This week on Granite State Challenge, the Tomahawks of Merrimack High School take on the Sabres of Souhegan High School. Only one team will advance. Granite State Challenge starts now.
Major funding for the production of Granite State Challenge is provided by Unitil. Additional funding provided by NEA New Hampshire, Safety Insurance, New Hampshire Lottery, Heinemann Publishing, Cognia, HRCU, Manchester Community College, and viewers like you. Thank you. Get ready. It's time for New Hampshire high schools to match wits in a high-stakes scholastic showdown. It's time for Granite State Challenge. Here's your host, John Cannon.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again this week on Granite State Challenge. We have our first semifinal match this week, and we're really excited. We've got two really great teams here ready to duke it out to see who will make it to the Granite State Super Challenge. Let's introduce them to you. We're going to start with the team from Merrimack. The Tomahawks are led by senior captain Scott. And Scott, not too long ago, you got your black belt in karate. Tell us about it.
So I was doing karate from maybe second grade to around the end of my sophomore year, and towards the beginning of my sophomore year I got my black belt. I worked very hard for it, and very
a lot of hard work and discipline.
Yeah.
All right, helps you with Granite State Challenge too, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
He's joined by his teammate Alex. Alex is a senior and recently took up tennis. Tell us about that.
So last year I started playing tennis. I'm not too great, but we're working on it.
Are you moving up on the depth chart?
Yeah, we're getting up there.
All right, excellent. He's joined by his neighbor and senior Troy. And Troy has an interesting job and people that you work with. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm a busser at Buckley's Great Stakes, and I actually work with Andrew.
With your teammate Andrew to your right. So neighbor to your left, co-worker to your right. All right, let's move on over to Andrew. Andrew's a senior, and you have run 3 half marathons. Tell us about that.
That's right. I've been running since I was in first grade, and I did my first half marathon when I was 12 years old.
All right, what's your best time?
Somewhere in the hour and 30 range.
That is quite excellent. Well done. All right, the team is coached by Sarah Campbell and Linda Mandra. Their alternates are Nick and Aiden, and they are the Tomahawks of Merrimack High School. All right, we're going to turn our attention over to their opponents this week, and they're the Sabres of Souhegan High School. They're led by senior captain Alec, who's not just the captain of the Granite State Challenge team, but was also the captain of
the downhill alpine racing scheme.
All right, and how long have you been doing alpine racing?
Since freshman year.
Since freshman year? Has the team been pretty good?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, what's your favorite event?
Giant slalom.
Giant slalom. Excellent. You like to go fast, huh?
Absolutely.
All right. Now, Zach, his teammate, who's a junior, plays a different winter sport. What's that?
Bowling.
Bowling. So I didn't know high schools had bowling teams. How did this start? Or how did it start for you?
Well, for me, my friend Nick, who's also on the Granite State Challenge team, just told me that I should bowl, and I didn't have anything else going on.
That's perfect. What's your best score?
168.
It's a lot better than me. All right. He's joined by Ari. Ari's a senior, and for 4 years you have been tracking what?
Food and drink. Everything.
Everything that you eat and drink.
Absolutely.
All right. Have you learned anything about yourself as a result of that process?
Needed to up my protein, so I did.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Is it hard to do that? That seems hard.
Now it comes second nature, and every time I have something on my plate, gotta whip out the phone and you know.
All right. Excellent. Well, keep it up, right? And finally, joined by Amanda. Amanda does Girl Scouts, and you've got your silver award.
Yeah, and next year I'll be able to work on my gold award.
And how do you earn a gold award?
You do a project that has a significant effect on your community and will continue having effects in your community.
Awesome. Good luck with that. The team is coached by Dave Jasinski, Sarah Kunyosing, and Travis Nason. The alternates are Daniel and Sam. They're the Souhegan Sabres. All right, and one more introduction for you this week, and that is, of course, our judges back with us again are Ann Belanger and Jim Johnston. All right, teams, introductions are done and out of the way. We're going to jump right into the game. This is a semifinal game, so you guys know how the game is played. We're going to start with round 1, and in round 1, we're going to do our 10-point toss-up questions. Merrimack, Souhegan, good luck. Let's go. This member of the cabbage family may have been named for a Belgian city. One of my favorites, Brussels sprouts. This man stepped down as manager of the Boston Red Sox in January 2020 in the wake of a scandal involving stealing signs. Alex of Merrimack.
Cora.
Yes. Author and illustrator Ludwig Bemelmans is best known for his series of books about this girl who was one of 12 little Parisian girls who walked in 2 straight lines under the direction of Miss Clavel. Ari of Sauhegan.
Madeline.
Yes. What department of the U.S. government deals with trademarks, patents, weather, and the census? It comes from the Department of Commerce. This English writer and illustrator is perhaps best known for his nonsense poetry like The Owl and the Pussycat and limericks like There Was an Old Man with a Beard. Scott of Merrimack.
Lear?
Yes. Teams, how many bones are there in the human spinal column? Troy of Merrimack.
26.
Sorry. Nope. Alec of Sauhegan.
27.
Worth taking a shot? It's 33. Which amendment to the U.S. Constitution lays out the procedure for electing a president and vice president? Scott of Merrimack.
The 12th?
That's the one. This is the only movable bone in the human skull. Alex of Merrimack.
The jaw.
Yeah, we'll give you that. It's the jawbone of the mandible. How would you play something with the musical notation fortissimo? Troy of Merrimack.
Very loud.
We'll give you that, absolutely. All right, teams, for this next question, go ahead and take a look at your monitors for a special guest.
Hi, I'm Willem Lang, host of Windows to the Wild, and the answer to this question will include the word wild. What book by Maurice Sendak includes Max and a whole bunch of monsters?
Zach of Sauhegan.
Where the Wild Things Are.
That's the one. John Jay was the first Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. Who is the current Chief Justice? Scott of Merrimack?
John Roberts.
Yes. Callaway County is the smallest county in the United States, both by population, with 90 residents, and area, 12 square miles of land and 41 square miles of water. In what state will you find Callaway County? Alec of Sauhegan.
Wyoming.
Sorry, nope. Alex of Merrimack?
New Hampshire.
Sorry, nope. With 12 square miles of land and 41 square miles of water, you might find it in Hawaii. Makes sense. This actor, director, and writer wrote and directed the movies Lady Bird and Little Women. It was Greta Gerwig. You will find Parliament Hill, home to the Canadian Parliament, in this city. Troy of Merrimack.
Ottawa.
Yes. Renee Zellweger portrayed this iconic actress and singer in the 2019 film Judy. Ari of Sauhegan.
Judy Garland.
She's the one. Before Star Wars, George Lucas directed this 1973 coming-of-age movie starring Richard Dreyfuss, Ron Howard, Cindy Williams, and Harrison Ford. Alex of Merrimack.
American Graffiti.
Yes. This Missouri city was the hometown of Harry Truman and the starting point for many travelers heading out on the Oregon Trail. Alex of Merrimack.
Independence.
That's the one. Scout and frontierswoman Martha Jane Canary, who is better known by this name, was portrayed by Robin Wiegert in the series Deadwood. Her name was Calamity Jane. This actor, who won the Best Actress Oscar in 2015 for her portrayal of Joy Ma Newsome in the film Room, also portrayed Carol Danvers in Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame. Ari of Sauhegan.
Brie Larson.
Yes. This New Hampshire poet's children's book, Oxcart Man, won the Caldecott Medal in 1980. And that poet was Donald Hall. All right, teams, I'd like you to take a look at your monitors for our Unitil Power question. As you know, this is a double-point question, so this is a 20-point toss-up. Take a look.
Ted Williams, Carl Yastrzemski, and Jim Rice are all best known for playing this defensive position for the Boston Red Sox.
Zach of Sauhegan.
First baseman?
Sorry, no. They played in left field. All right, teams, Chantrelles, Morels, and Portobellas are all varieties of this edible fungus? Troy of Merrimack.
Mushrooms.
That's it. All right, teams. This U.S. president was a serious football player. He was an MVP for the Michigan Wolverines, and we're not going to get to the end of that one in case you knew it. But after one round, it looks like Merrimack out to a lead by a score of 100-40. All right, teams, great job. We're going to move right into round two. In round two, we're going to continue with our toss-up questions, but we're going to double the point value. So we are playing now for 20-point toss-up questions. Merrimack and Souhegan, good luck. Let's go. Americans Tenley Albright, Peggy Fleming, Dorothy Hamill, and Carol Heiss all won gold medals in this Olympic sport. Troy of Merrimack.
Gymnastics.
Sorry, no. Ari of Souhegan?
Figure skating.
Figure skating is correct. While her reign as Queen of England was cut short and only lasted for a little under 3 years, her daughter went on to reign for close to 45 years. Scott of Merrimack.
Anne Boleyn?
Yes. This is the largest member of the deer family found in North America. Alex of Merrimack.
Moose.
It's the moose. After his death in October of 2019, this Maryland representative laid in state in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. Alec of Souhegan.
John McCain.
Sorry, no. Was Elijah Cummings. Sometimes an individual opposed to technology is called by this name, taken from a group of 19th century English workers who smashed textile machinery. Zach of Souhegan.
Luddite.
Yes, correct. This British singer who portrayed Eliza Doolittle in the Broadway musical My Fair Lady was passed over for the movie role when the part was given to Audrey Hepburn. Scott of Merrimack.
Julie Andrews?
She's the one. This naturally occurring element with an atomic number of 6 gets its name from the Latin word for coal. Amanda of Souhegan.
Carbon.
Yes. You will find the stars Rigel and Betelgeuse in this constellation. Zach of Souhegan.
Orion.
That's the one. All right, teams, go ahead and take a look at your monitor for the next question. Because of their circumpolar migratory pattern, this bird breeds in the spring and summer in the Arctic, then gets to spend another summer in the Antarctic. Troy of Merrimack.
The albatross.
Sorry, no. Alec of Souhegan.
The penguin.
Nope. It is known as the Arctic tern. All right, teams. Who was the first American president to occupy the White House? Zach of Souhegan.
John Adams.
He was the one. This 1996 movie stars basketball legend Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny. Ari of Souhegan.
Space Jam.
That's the one. This South African leader who served as president of his country from 1994 to 1999 spent more than 18 years as a political prisoner on Robben Island. Alec of Souhegan.
Nelson Mandela.
Yes. This singer and actor played Mary Jackson in the 2016 movie Hidden Figures. Ari of Souhegan.
Octavia Spencer.
Sorry, no. It's a good guess, Ari. It was Janelle Monáe. This grandfather and grandson both served as President of the United States. We are looking for their full names. Amanda of Souhegan.
William Henry Harrison.
Sorry, just ran out of time. Scott of Merrimack.
William Henry Harrison and Benjamin Harrison.
That's the other one. Yes, sir. Lucy Maud Montgomery set her novel, Anne of Green Gables, in this Canadian province. Alec of Souhegan.
Prince Edward Island.
Yes. This was the busiest immigration station in the United States from the late 1800s until the mid-20th century. Alex of Merrimack.
Ellis Island.
Yes. This 17th century German composer's best-known work is his Canon in D. Alec of Souhegan.
Beethoven.
Sorry, no. Merrimack? Sorry, Scott, I think you're locking yourself out. Sorry, Zach, can't ring in. So I think the timer's probably run out on this one. It is Pachelbel. Pachelbel's canon, of course. As many as 1.8 million people may have died in this World War II battle between Germany and the Soviet Union over what is now the city of Volgograd. Alex of Merrimack.
Stalingrad.
Yes. Linda Ronstadt, Estelle Parsons, and Kevin Kline all starred in a 1980 Broadway production of this comic operetta by Gilbert and Sullivan? Scott of Merrimack.
The Pirates of Penzance.
When in doubt, go with that. This scientific discipline that begins with the letter B uses engineering principles to replace or enhance biological systems. Troy of Merrimack.
Biomedical engineering.
We'll take that. Yes, sir. These are the sounds that end our round. And after round 2, it looks like Merrimack holding on to its lead by a score of 260 to 200. All right, teams, as we head into round 3, I would like to invite our alternates to join their teams up at the podiums as we go into our 60-second round. So in the 60-second round, each team will be given 10 questions in a category. We'll give them 10 points for each correct response and a bonus of 10 points if they get all 10 correct. We're going to start with Souhegan as the team trailing, and Alec, you can talk to your team. You can choose from the following categories: 10 under 20, bird people, and hot and cold.
Hot and cold.
Hot and cold. All right, so Alec, you can talk to your team, but I will take your answer as the team answer, and if you need to pass, just say pass. In this category, the answers to the following will include the words hot or cold. 60 seconds, start the clock. British rock band fronted by Chris Martin.
Hot Chili Peppers.
Sorry, it's Coldplay. 2010 movie about 4 friends traveling back to 1986.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
That's it. Animals whose body temperature changes with environmental conditions.
Cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded.
Yes, movie starring Elizabeth Taylor and Paul Newman based on a play by Tennessee Williams.
Pass.
It is Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Charlie Sheen plays U.S. Navy pilot Topper Harley in this 1991 Top Gun spoof.
Hot Gun.
Sorry, it's called Hot Shots. Quitting something addictive suddenly can be called this.
Cold Turkey.
Yes, Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis hide from the mob by dressing as women in this film.
Pass.
It is Some Like It Hot. Die-cast toy cars released in 1968.
Hot Wheels.
Yes. Term for the period between the U.S. and the Soviet Union.
Cold War.
Correct. Truman Capote novel about real-life murders in Holcomb, Kansas.
Cold Case.
Sorry, it's In Cold Blood. Judges, 5 out of 10 on your 60-second round. All right, Souhegan, great job. We're going to turn over to Merrimack. And Scott, you can choose from 10 under 20 and bird people.
Bird people.
Bird people, okay. Scott, you can talk to your team, but I'm going to take your answer as the team answer. You can pass if you need to. And in this category, identify the following individuals with names that include a bird. 60 seconds, start the clock. She eventually made friends with Boo Radley.
Scott Finch.
Yes, he played Mork from Ork.
Robin Williams.
Yes, she has starred in many sitcoms, including The Cosby Show and The Cheetah Girls.
Pass.
It was Raymond Simone. He wrote The Red Badge of Courage.
Stephen Crane.
Yes, he won a Best Actor Oscar for his role in Gladiator.
Russell Crowe.
Yes, Johnny Depp plays this fictional pirate.
Jack Sparrow.
Yes, this English architect designed St. Paul's Cathedral in London.
Pass.
It is Christopher Wren. He has played a jerk, a wild and crazy guy, and King Tut.
Pass.
It is Steve Martin. He was George H.W. Bush's vice president.
Dan Quayle.
Yes, he began skateboarding at age 14.
Tony Hawk.
Yes. Judges, 7 out of 10 on your 60-second rounds. All right, teams, great job on that round. Alternates, you can go ahead and take your seats as we head on into round 4. So in our 4th and final round, we're going to continue with our 20-point toss-up questions, but we're going to be deducting 20 points for incorrect responses. So it's still a close match and a lot can change. Play smart, play strategic. Good luck, Merrimack. Good luck, Souhegan. Here we go. There are around 100 species of this primate, and all are found on Madagascar. Ari of Souhegan.
Lemur.
Yes. This series of confrontations over fishing rights, known as the Cod Wars, began in the 15th century and ended in 1976, when NATO helped negotiate an agreement between the United Kingdom and this country. Andrew of Merrimack?
France.
Sorry, no. It was Iceland. Where will you find the septum in the human body? Troy of Merrimack.
The nose.
In the nose. Welsh physician and mathematician Robert Recorde introduced this mathematical symbol, which he called Gemo lines, or twin lines, in his 1557 book, The Whetstone of Vita. Ari of Sauhegan.
The equals symbol.
The equals symbol is correct. Accused of the 1892 axe murders of her father and stepmother, this Fall River, Massachusetts woman was acquitted by a jury in 1893. Zach of Sauhegan.
Lizzie Borden.
Yes. This 1965 science fiction novel by Frank Herbert was made into a 1984 movie directed by David Lynch and starring Kyle MacLachlan as nobleman Paul Atreides. Timothy Chalamet will reprise the role in a 2020 remake. Scott of Merrimack.
Dune?
That's it. This American writer's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, The Executioner's Song, recounts the events that led to the execution of murderer Gary Gilmore. That writer was Norman Mailer. Athenian leader Pericles, who is remembered as a statesman, orator, and general, is also known for his support of the arts and his building projects, which included this temple, dedicated to Athena, located on the Acropolis. Alex of Merrimack.
The Parthenon.
That's it. This is the largest city in Kentucky and is also named after Marie Antoinette's husband. Scott of Merrimack.
Louisville.
That's it. Something very small could be said to be minuscule. Spell minuscule. Alex of Merrimack.
M-I-N-I-S-C-U-L-E.
Sorry, that's incorrect. It is M-I-N-U-S-C-U-L-E. All right, teams, this singer-songwriter is known for the song Girls Just Want to Have Fun and the musical Kinky Boots. Scott of Merrimack.
Cyndi Lauper?
She's the one. This opera by Giacomo Puccini tells the tragic story of a young Japanese girl married to and abandoned by an American naval officer. And that was called Madame Butterfly. In what sport will you find a platform and a springboard option? Troy of Merrimack?
Gymnastics.
Sorry, no. Sorry, Alec, you just missed it. It is diving. All three angles on this type of triangle measure 60 degrees. Alex of Merrimack.
Equilateral.
That's it. Edna Pontellier, who struggles with the constraints of her role as a wife and a mother, is the main character in this 1899 novel by Kate Chopin. Scott of Merrimack.
The Awakening.
That's it. This could be a burrowing rodent, a scientific unit of measurement, a spy, or a skin blemish. Zach of Sauhegan.
Mole.
You got it. This 1968 movie starring Charlton Heston was loosely based on Pierre Boulle's 1963 novel La Planète des Singes. Sorry, Ari, I think you were...
Planet of the Apes.
Thank you, Zach. It is Planet of the Apes. Ari, you were locked out. This 18th century English theologian was at the head of a revival movement that led to the establishment of the Methodist Church. Zach of Sauhegan.
Martin Luther.
Sorry, no. It was John Wesley. The cable TV network Pinwheel, dedicated to airing children's programming, launched in 1977 and changed its name to this more recognizable one in 1979. You know it as Nickelodeon. In what 1999 M. Night Shyamalan movie does Haley Joel Osment see dead people? Ari of Sauhegan.
Sixth Sense.
That's it. Nairobi is the capital of this African country. Scott of Merrimack.
Kenya.
Yes. This 2019 miniseries tells the story of a nuclear accident in the Soviet Union in 1986. Ari of Sauhegan.
Chernobyl.
Yes. Florence Nightingale, considered to be the founder of modern nursing, was known as the Lady with the Lamp during this war. It was the Crimean War. This science fiction author and engineer was a bit of a stickler for scientific accuracy. He is best known for the work Stranger in a Strange Land and The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. Scott of Merrimack.
Heinlein?
Yes, that is correct. Founding father and fourth president James Madison is often called the father of this. Scott of Merrimack.
The Constitution.
He's the father of the Constitution. This American author created the characters Ichabod Crane and Rip Van Winkle and was appointed minister to Spain in 1842 by President John Tyler. Scott of Merrimack.
Washington Irving.
Washington Irving is correct. We'll give you the points, and that sound ends the game. And it looks like Merrimack will be moving on to the Super Challenge by a score of 490 to 370 over Souhegan. Souhegan, you guys played a great game. You guys had a great run. It was a lot of fun having you this season on Granite State Challenge. We do hope you had fun. Merrimack, congratulations. We'll see you in a couple of weeks for the finals. And we certainly hope that you had fun at home watching this week. And we hope you join us next week when the Falcons of Bow High School take on the Bobcats of Plymouth Regional High School in our second semifinal game. We had a lot of fun. We hope you did too. I learned a lot this week, and I hope you did as well. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Major funding for the production of Granite State Challenge is provided by Unitil. Additional funding provided by NEA New Hampshire, Safety Insurance, New Hampshire Lottery, Heinemann Publishing, Cognia, HRCU, Manchester Community College, and viewers like you. Thank you.